So, sup you chuckle fucks, it's your boy Dakuraitoningu here with the what if Lord Potato was in DXD or Dakuraitoningu, who really cares? They're both the same person, kinda. It's mostly two different personas, but not the point. But let me just begin into this what if. Let me shut the fuck up. I just woke in. I kind of just woke up recently, like at 11 something. I think I woke up at 11. Not the point. I was dead ass tired. I did not want to do anything, so I just woke up and I make an excuse that mostly I was running too much all day. So yeah, just so I don't need to go clean up the house over there. But yeah, I'm lazy right now. But not the point. Let me begin into this what if. I know there's a lot of people asking for part 2 of this what if, so let me begin into part 2. And yes, this one should be mostly 50 minutes long instead of 26 minutes. But yeah, not the point. Let me begin. Let me shut the fuck up and let me begin. Before I do that, let me get water. So yeah, let me begin. We begin into mostly the boy who is actually the older brother of Issei, whose name Raikou, also known as Dark Raikou, is right now crackling with mostly white lightning in his right eye, while his left eye is crackling with a turquoise blue, the same powers that he has been using for a while. But this is where, well, the white lightning is now brand new to him. But he can feel the overwhelming power from his right eye, just from the fact that it changed to purely white and the lightning itself is purely white. Anything that's mostly around the white eye just turns into a white color version. So let's say that mostly he decides to start using fire, or mostly not he, mostly me. Start using fire in my right hand, it would turn white in an instant. The most powerful different types of flames, literally white flames. But not the point. White lightning is actually also quite powerful, from the fact that it can actually make me kind of go to the same speed as light. But not the point. Turquoise is almost second to almost the same speed as light, but this is now, I'm overpowering light itself. This where is completely white. But of course, the lightning also crackles around me. The same kind of lightning, what's it called? The lightning cloak that I had a while ago, that had like lightning sparks crackling off of me, mostly lightning sparks that are going to the right side turn white in an instant, and they become much faster. The lightning that's right now crackling to the left of me is a turquoise blue, and it's still kind of the same. This is where it will, but it turns back to turquoise blue after a while. But yeah, but this is where it will. And the boy itself is holding on to mostly Issei. Right now, holding him pretty tightly, and of course not wanting to let him go. This is where, well, the brownish hair boy is right now passed out. He can also see a wound in the boy's neck, like there was someone kind of grabbing him. So yeah, this is where, well, the person looks down and uses a bit of his lightning magic to actually heal the brown haired boy's kind of like wound. This is where, well, the wound disappears after a while. This is where, well, he then gets up, but before getting up, he kind of summons out something that is quite powerful. This is where, well, he then says one word, arise, Baru. This is where, well, he summons out a shadow soldier. A shadow soldier, but really it's pure darkness soldier. This is where, well, this darkness soldier has the same white eyes as mostly the, well, brown hair, well not brown hair boy, the black hair boy. The black hair boy summoned out a soldier to protect Issei because he was going to put him down on the ground, while he fights against Rizabin. This is where, well, the darkness soldier understood and what exactly is happening. This is where, well, he was a giant ant, and of course, where, well, the ant was able to create his own darkness soldier, mostly minions of him. This is where, well, he created himself multiple minions to protect Issei, while the black hair boy gets up after kind of like stop crouching down for Issei. This is where, well, his eyes are still very, very, very mostly powerful still. Of course, his body won't hold out too long, but he doesn't care. He's going to murder Rizabin. This is where, well, his eyes, I should mention one thing. In his right, well, mostly in his left eye, while his right eye is just purely white and crackling with just white lightning, his left eye, in the other hand, changed. Instead of being a pupil normal eye for a human, it became slick in an instant. And that's actually mostly became like slick like a dragon. But not just a dragon, it became into a cross slick kind of mostly vision. This is where, well, mostly lightning is still crackling off that eye. But this is where, well, he felt much more powerful. He felt like everything around him is slower than ever. But he didn't care. He also still felt kind of slow thanks to darkness, but not the point. He didn't feel like he was just going to somehow travel back to the time just running really fast. But does it work? Well, he decides to disappear in an instant. He literally just turns into nothing but particles of lightning and disappears in an instant, appearing back to where Resubim's at. Now, Resubim is actually near, well, the street. And this is where Resubim says, "Oh, such an annoying little brat. I can't even take Valerie back. Damn it." And some black-haired brat decides to get in my way. Stupid fucking. Before he can even finish that sentence, a car let it go. Beep, beep, beep. This is where, well, we'll see. Resubim says, "What the?" This is where a flying car smashes into him and right now launches him into a literally wall. This is where, well, he dented into that wall thanks to the car literally just smashing into him. And it was no small car. It was literally a fucking semi-truck literally smashing into him. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly the person that was inside the semi-truck was not really there. Like, really, or, well, he was there. He's already dead, but who really cares? This is where, well, mostly, Resubim managed to explode with power, and of course, well, he's angry and frustrated, but he feels very weird. He feels like his power was depleted in an instant thanks to that one attack from that kid. Now, this is where, well, he's confused on why a semi-truck just smashes into him. This is where, well, he then noticed the kid right now walking to him, like, with a menacing walk. Literally the Doflamingo walk. Nah, I'm just kidding. But, actually, fuck it, the Doflamingo walk. This is where he's walking to him like with a care in the world. This is where, well, mostly Resubim says, "You pathetic human! Do you not know who I am? I am Resubim!" This is where before he can even finish that shit, mostly the kid grabbed him from the face in an instant, smashing him down to the ground, and then kicking him really hard in the fucking head, launching him, skidding through the road like a fucking hockey puck. Ba 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 ba. This is where he smashes into the last building that's all the way down to the street. And it was literally like 5 fucking miles. This is where, well, mostly Resubim is literally being humiliated. This is where, well, by a fucking 9-year-old. This is where, well, mostly the person says, "I said, I am Resubim. Look." This is where before anything else happens, white lightning came back from, mostly white lightning came from the sky and smashed into him. Or not white lightning, turquoise lightning. I said, I am This is where more blue lightning, or mostly turquoise lightning, is smashing into him, making sure that he shut the hell up because, God, no one wants to ever hear fucking Resubim and Lucifer just keep talking. This is where, well, Resubim says, "I said, I think it's Resubim and Lucifer. I think it's something in the middle. I forgot. Resubim, Lucifer or something. I don't remember. But this is where Resubim says, "I said, I am. You are dead to me." The boy has actually finally finished talking. This is where his voice is not the same as a kid. It's no longer kind of squeaky, but more of like an adult, or more like a teenager. But this is where, well, we'll see the older Lucifer right now looks up towards the boy, and the boy is no longer a 9-year-old. But instead, literally an 18-year-old right now, or not an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old right now standing right in front of him. The boy actually still has his power with him, but he grew up a couple of, like, probably aged up a couple of times, like 10 age. But this is where, well, he aged up a little bit, and this is where, well, we'll see Lucifer says, what happens to that boy? Who are you? Huh? Oh, you don't know. But I can actually age myself a little bit more, so I can use my full power. Now all matter before me shall freeze. This is where, well, Lucifer was confused until he felt like he was encased in ice. This is where, well, mostly the boys say sorry. But did I say all matter in front of me shall freeze? No, all matter before me shall turn into different elements like lightning, fire, water, earth, and every freaking command. I command all elements. This is where, well, the turquoise blue lightning that was actually crackling around his eye right now turned into a rainbow color for a second. And of course, instead of the slick being black, it turned gold. This is where, well, his hair almost turned into the same color of that eye color. Mostly just gold and white. This is where, well, except for the right side, it was still turning white. But this is where, well, mostly a crown started appearing in front of mostly his head. 2 crowns, mostly 2 fragments of 2 half crowns. one being a golden white with some kind of like blue, red, and green gem on it, while the other one we'll see in his right side being completely a black crown when we'll see a white gem that kind of goes into mostly 3 different spots. But this where, well, with there being actually a small blue gem, but this where, well, his eyes are different, and this is where, well, the person says, I have command of all. Now be gone from my sight. I shall erase you and annihilate you from this world. This is where, well, he appeared right in front of mostly Lucifer, because Lucifer was actually right now in front of mostly, he got out of the ice, but this is where he got grabbed from the neck so hard that he couldn't even be able to break out. This is where no way in hell he would be able to even use his ability to kind of somehow get rid of like sacred gears, because this is not no sacred gear. What he sees behind the boy, something that just scares the shit of him, something much more powerful than that of mostly the Infinity Dragon Orpheus or even Great Red himself. A dragon behind him, but this dragon has 3 heads with different color of eyes. One being, well, in the middle has a dragon with red eyes, and to the left of him has a dragon with blue eyes, and then to the right of him has a dragon with kind of mostly like kind of a blackish eyes, but yeah, or mostly yellowish eyes, no, black. But this is where, well, the 3 dragons are right now mostly the heads are quite large. When it has a quite large body, it does have large wings, and it does have large legs. And it's not King Ghidorah, but of course it does have mostly a tail that's, but it does have a huge like tail that's a hammer. It mostly is like a tail altogether to become like a hammerhead or whatever. This is where, well, it does have some kind of spike in the very end, but of course its scales itself is all white, while mostly some of the outlines of the dragon has mostly some golden tint of it. Of course it does have horns, like all 3 heads does have horns. And this is where, well, the dragon itself was growling menacingly behind mostly the boy, the 19-year-old now. This is where, well, behind him, into the right side of him, was appearing a kind of humanoid figure. The humanoid figure with just purely white eyes. This is where, well, he had purely black armor. And this is where, well, mostly the figure itself had a very dangerous aura to him. A very, very dangerous aura to him. But of course, back to the dragon itself. It was a little bit smaller. Well, it did have the kind of like white scales and other things. But behind it was actually a bigger dragon. It looked to be like some kind of the mother of the dragon. This is where, well, the mother of the dragon looked similar to the same as the smaller dragon. But of course, instead of having white scales, it had black scales. And instead of having golden kind of like tints of mostly around the dragon, it had red mostly tints. This is where, well, itself, the dragon was much more bigger, and it felt like she was actually the queen of all dragons, while the smaller dragon was actually the prince of all dragons. But right next to the humanoid figure had a very small little kind of figure next to him, mostly kind of like, or not small figure, had mostly his hand right now on the boy's shoulder, on the 9-year-old. While the other, mostly the dragon and some of the smaller dragons seemed to be a part of the boy. But of course, the bigger queen dragon seems to be mostly like its mother. Right now, scaring Lucifer so much. Lucifer was confused. He was very confused. He didn't know what was happening. But all he knew was this boy is completely dangerous. His rank of being stronger than anyone in this world has surpassed everything. If he's really a 9-year-old, which he's not, because he's still a 9-year-old, not 19. This is where, well, the boy looks at mostly, well, Resident Lucifer and says, "Be gone from my sight, I say." This is where, well, his right hand was coated into white lining, while his left hand was coated into the Dremelish color. This is where he pulls out 2 weapons in an instant. One was a white, pure white scythe, with mostly a black kind of handle, mostly the white crescent scythe up there, that had kind of like, mostly, it looked like to be a pickaxe, because there was another kind of like smaller side kind of sticking out a little bit to the other side. But this is where, well, it was kind of a little bit diamond, whatever. There was a tint of diamonds around the kind of handle, but not the point. While the other hand was a sword that came out to be like 3 swords all together. There might have been like a small crevice that's apart from the other 3 swords, but yeah. But one of the swords was the middle sword, and it was longer, while the other 2 swords were both parallel and equal at the same time for the others. But yeah, except for the middle. The middle had a reddish tint of line, while mostly the left had a tint of blue, while the right had a tint of yellow. This is where, well, mostly the boy itself had very powerful weapons. All that Lucifer could do, or Lucifer could do, was just sit there and stay and let him die himself. But he wouldn't die. He's Lucifer, for crying out loud. He won't let some pathetic weakling right now stand in front of him. But before he can even do anything, all he saw was mostly the boy disappear, reappear right in front of him, and disappear behind the person, mostly Lucifer himself. He felt two slashes, two very powerful slashes ripped through his body right now. This is where he also felt like multiple other cuts were all around his body. And he felt like his body was being erased in an instant. This is where, well, he tried to turn around to see the boy, and the boy turned back to being a 9-year-old. This is where, well, most of the two weapons that he had in his hands disappeared in an instant. His body, instead of becoming back to being a 9-year-old, he became back into a 9-year-old, like I mentioned. So he, like, decreased in age, and actually, like, instead of being 19, he decreased, and minus the 10 years, he became a 9-year-old. This is where, well, his hair was still black as the midnight sky. His hair that had the tint of mostly the turquoise blue lightning around it, or mostly the turquoise just blue highlights, are still glowing, kind of crackling with blue lightning, turquoise blue lightning, but not the point. His eyes are still the same, but mostly they're back to being just slick normal. And this is where, well, slick turquoise blue, well, not slick turquoise, just a normal pupil, but not the point. While his purely white eye is actually gone, and the white patch of hair that he had in his head, this actually was mostly the white patch of hair disappeared, but there was 3 like highlights of white hair right now near his right eye, but it wouldn't disappear. It just stayed there. This is where, well, mostly the white eye is gone and just turns back into the turquoise blue lightning eye color. And this is where, well, his body mostly didn't feel as the same strength as that rivaling straight beyond the dragon gods and mostly the outer gods himself. But this is where, well, instead he was just rivaling normally a dragon king right now. This is where, well, right, well, not even rivaling a dragon king. He felt kind of weaker than normal. But this is where, well, still, it was kind of that of a mere mid-tier high-ranking devil for being a 9-year-old. But yeah, this is where, well, we'll see, he also didn't have the crowns on him. The 2 different colorful crowns. And the aura itself, the very dangerous aura, has disappeared. So just, yeah, mostly to, not mid-tier, high-ranking devil, but yeah. This is where, well, mostly Lucifer himself felt like he was being erased. He tried to grab onto the kid, but his hands were being erased in an instant into white particles. His other hand was turning into white particles also. He looks at the boy and says, "No! I, Lucifer Brisbane, shall die and disappear." The boy said, "Be gone from my sight. Never touch my little brother again." This is where, well, Rizabim, all he saw was mostly him disappearing and just turning into white particles and gone. This is where, well, mostly the boy felt very weak. He fell down to one knee and right now to like hold onto his breath right now, just very tired. Damn it. I'm only a 9-year-old and this body is still too weak. I need to train myself. I can't do that again. I can't right now mess with my age, because I will only have a limited time to ever age up again. Damn it. Why did I put seals on my body when I was going to be reborn? I'm such an idiot about that. This is where, well, mostly he wants to punch himself, but not the point. This is where, well, he also felt very weird in using the right eye, because he never uses the right eye. Even in his mostly Godslayer state, he was never ever going to actually use the right eye ever. It's actually mostly quite new and kind of refreshing to use the right eye. Because it doesn't feel like mostly his father's trying to mostly his actual father's trying to take over his body. It feels like his actual father's actually kind of watching him and letting him use the power of the cursed eye, mostly the cursed white eye of a Godslayer. Because yes, he was a kind of half demi-God slayer right now in mostly his previous timeline, or mostly not previous timeline, in his mostly life before being reborn, because they thought it was actually a great idea. But this is where, well, mostly he was only half of that side, because his other half was that of being a dragon prince, but not the point. This is where, oh, he then thinks about it, saying, okay, maybe I shouldn't do something crazy like that. Okay, nope. shouldn't do stuff like that. Oh, before I go on onto the sweater, I should mention one thing. If you ever want to know exactly what I'm talking about, the Dragon Prince and other things, and mostly blah blah blah, I did upload a video that's literally 1 year in mostly the second channel and 2 years in my first channel. So my first channel is pretty much just called The Fallen King. It only has like 60 views or whatever, 80 views, like if I can remember right. But mostly it was going to be the story of mostly my origins. It's just I only did it for one part, and that's all. And also my mostly second channel, this channel, it's in the very beginning. Like you can try to find it in the very beginning, like scroll all the way down to mostly my first kind of like videos. You will probably find it because it's there. I just said it's The Fallen King Part 1 and re-uploaded from mostly first channel, so yeah. So if you guys really want to see the kind of origin story of mostly my story, yeah, I might continue it on my origin story, but not the point. But yeah, pretty much I was just going to focus on mostly the parent side and then go on to my story and other things. If you guys really want to see that, because I had so many ideas for my origin story before doing any what ifs, before doing anything. I was always a daydreamer in my fucking classes in high school, in middle school. I had like so many ideas that were just imagination. That's literally that's what I have. I have literally what's it called? Not grammar. Grimmy's powers of V to imaginate, because that's how much I had so many imagination ideas. That's why I started becoming a what if YouTuber, because my imagination is quite crazy. Literally, I have 900 videos on my first channel, straight up of different, just mostly ideas. If you have ever like this, actually check out my first channel. That's literally Lord Potato. I have almost at 1,000 videos of different what if ideas. I stopped because, well, what do I do if I hit 1,000? Make another special and say I hit 1,000, not 1,000 subscribers, 1,000 videos. Time to make a what if, but not the point. I'm just rambling on. Well, well, I know I'm rambling on. Maybe I should, when I hit 1,000 videos of mostly, well, for my first channel, I should just continue on with the origin story. But yeah, I don't know. If you guys want to see me kind of continue on with my origin story, then I'll continue it on. I'm never doing my face reveal, but I would love to do an origin story. But not the point. Other than that, either you want me to kind of do an origin story for my both channels, or I can just do it on my fucking mostly Wattpad, kind of like mostly just do an origin story for my freaking past, but not the point. As being a god slave, but not the point. But other than that, I know I'm rambling. So let me just begin back into this what if. But yeah, let's just begin. Sorry about that. But let me just begin. So of course, most of the boy kind of falls down and says, "Ah, damn it, easy." This is where the boy thinks of the brown-haired boy now. He doesn't think of himself too much. He thinks of the brown-haired boy. This is where the boy starts rushing back towards where Issei's at. Of course, mostly what he sees is Valerie Lucifer right now hugging the boy, the brown-haired boy, even though the aunt didn't attack her. This is where, well, he's actually looking at the, mostly two leaders of their own faction. And of course, when they get close, they almost get clawed in an instant because the aunt doesn't like them at all. He will let the girl kind of just mostly just touch and even like hug Issei, but mostly the older people he will not let. Beru is that type of person. He will protect mostly, the master's younger brother. But yeah, this is where, he right now growls at the leaders because he can feel that power from them. They're quite strong, but not that strong against him. And of course, the girl itself is not that strong, so of course, he just let that happen. Because one of the ants are right now just looking at both of them. If anything happens, Beru can easily react fast enough. This is where, 3 other girls actually appear, after managing to run to this place. And what they see mostly one of them sees their basically father right now kind of almost getting attacked by an ant, a huge ass ant. That has almost a similar same aura as the boy who was actually the guy who actually appeared next to them to kind of play somewhere in the park and go to get ice cream somewhere. Who's named Raikou. But this is where, she saw this, and this is where the mostly palish blonde haired girl with palish blue eyes says, "Dad, what are you doing here?" This is where mostly she kind of asks mostly the older man, who looks to be in his mostly age 30s. He does have kind of violet eyes, and this is where he does have mostly blondish hair, somewhat kind of on top of his front hair, mostly in his head, and then the back is just purely black. But yeah, this is where he says, Junko-chan, it's been a while. Or not been a while. He then says, it's been quite a while, don't you think? How's your mom treating you? And this is where Junko says, fine, but not the point. What are you doing here? Deadbeat. This is where, as it says, how do you know that? Wait, how do you know that word? This is where, Junko pouts and says, how don't I know that word? You haven't seen me or my sister ever. You haven't even visited us. This is where, she started acting kind of rude to mostly Asa, and Asa said, come on, Junko. I'm so sorry. I've just been really busy with mostly work and other things. This is where, mostly Junko says, that's what mom says, but she really knows that you don't actually work that much. You just laze around half the time. That hurts. Really hurts from the fact that my wife tells me that. This is where, mostly the other two girls are just workshopping after this, but this is where, mostly they see the red-haired person, and the person is a devil, so of course they get very unnerved with that, because they can feel the demonic energy, but this is where the ant actually noticed the girls, and of course would attack the Lucifer if he dares try to attack them. Because the Lucifer did look at the girls. Now of course he was confused with why they're all here. Of course he realized that one of them is Azo's daughter, but the other two aren't. This is where, a lightning figure right now appears right next to Issei. This is where, the boy is right now really tired. Of course, his bruises and other wounds that are around his body are already healed and insane. Even the brown-haired boy's bruises and other things heal. This is where, you notice that the boy is actually still breathing. He's just asleep because he's tired. Of course, you notice the white-haired girl right now kind of crying and telling Issei to wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. Please don't hate me. Please don't hate me. This is where, mostly the boy himself, the older boy, decides to grab Issei, mostly me, grabs Issei and just says, okay, we're going home then. This is where, the girl says, I can't let you. Wait, I want to apologize to Issei-kun. Please let me apologize to him. That's where, mostly I look at her and says, you can apologize to him when you're older and when you're stronger. Besides, get stronger to protect him, if that's what you want. But he will actually do the opposite when you two are older, because he will actually willingly protect you. This is where, mostly, Valerie blushes a little bit and of course looks away. And this is where, mostly the others saw this. This is where, mostly Issei, mostly the boy himself, the older boy says, hey there, Junko-chan, SF-chan, and even what's it called, mostly Rose-chan. This is where, all girls kind of blush after seeing the boy that they just met. And of course, he did have a very scary aura of the fact that he was pissed the fuck off with the kidnapper really just kind of tricking them. Now, I should mention about the kidnapper. The kidnapper was walking to the toilet after taking a shit in his pants, because all he saw was four scary children, and he's never gonna kidnap ever again. He shit himself so bad that he's right now trying to get to like some kind of like just somewhere to clean his shit off his pants, because he was scared shitless. And when he saw that kid disappear very fast, running so fucking fast, he thought that his heart was going to be out of his chest. This is where luckily it wasn't. But we go into the man kind of walking down the streets. Now the guy was walking really weird, very compensated, because he did took a shit in his pants. And this is where, before he can walk away, a car smashes into him. Beep beep boom. This is where, he was isekai'd in an instant to being a bastard that just got fucked over more in his new life. But yeah, but this is where, mostly that guy kind of just got screwed so bad. He didn't know what to do, but whatever. He became a villain in his own story, kind of. It got defeated, but not the point. But this is where, that happened for that guy. Poor guy. Who really cares that much? Well, not really poor guy, but who cares? But this is where, mostly we go back into mostly the black hair boy right now, kind of, not caressing, mostly holding on to Issei. And this is where, the giant ant says, shall we be leaving then? This is where, mostly the boy with the blackish hair says, yes, we shall be leaving. This is where, mostly, I look at the three girls and says, maybe in the near future we get to meet each other again. Or maybe if you girls are going to still be here in the park. But I'm going to be a little bit more iffy with mostly going to the park, because mostly I'm going to be visiting someone, and I probably won't be able to go to the park. This is where, I said, and of course I look at the two kind of like faction leaders and says, you with the fallen angel kind of bullcrap aura, and you, the devil, if you're stupid, fucking, I don't know, any of your subordinates, family members, or anything in the near future decide to attack or hurt my brother, I will send, I don't know, straight up an army towards your own faction, and I'm gonna rip every fucking thing that you fucking love in that world because I will fucking not care. This is where both of them are shocked to hear words that mostly a 9-year-old can literally say. And literally say what I care in the world. Beto, show them out. This is where Beto right now looks at the two faction leaders. And this is where his power of aura right now exploded out of his body. He growls at the two mostly leaders. The two leaders wide in their eyes. The power literally surpassed him in an instant. This is where, well, they can see that the boy is not joking around. The boy right now kind of holds on to mostly Issei tighter. And this is where, well, he then says, I should be going then. Bye, girls. If we ever meet in the near future, I hope we can actually all be friends. Or more than that, if you would like that. This is where, well, the boy kind of sent a gentle smile to them. And this is where all of them blush in an instant. This is where, well, mostly, I then say, well, other than that, I should be going then. Let's go, Beto. Beto nodded. This is where I jump up in the air and Beto right now spreads his wings and kind of grabs onto both me and even what's it called, Issei. This is where he flies up in just high speeds, faster than normal. This is where, well, the other ants that were there just turned into darkness puddles and just gone. This is where, well, mostly everyone was shocked. This is where, well, as well, I should probably be going then. Rasa, do you want to go back home? Besides, we do live next to each other. This is where, well, not Rasa, Rosa. This is where Rosa says, oh, love that. Yeah, we should be going. Junko, are you coming? Junko then says, yeah, I'm coming. Don't leave me. I don't want to be with my deadbeat father. Fuck that. This is where, well, mostly, it hurts like hell. This is where, well, mostly Junko noticed the mostly white-haired girl with kind of bluish crystallized eyes and says, you're coming with me. You're now my new sister. This is where, well, my new baby sister. This is where, well, mostly Volley blushes and says, really? But you don't know who I am anyway. You probably think I'm just a devil. I don't care. You're now mine. Junko kind of just grabs, hugs her, and says, now you're mine. This is where, well, mostly what's it called, Polly blushes, and of course mostly Junko grabs onto her hand and just kind of pulls her away. This is where, well, Azo kind of says, I feel like my oldest daughter is not going to like me ever. This is where, well, mostly Sarduk says, so what should we do now? First of all, the kid who is actually with black hair entirely, and the brown haired boy who actually has the Red Dragon Emperor, should be kind of keep an eye. But I do know that mostly any subordinates that go near the boy will be ripped shreds apart because that ant himself can literally rip apart them. What happens if they start a war with us? Well, we're screwed either way. Because I don't see Rizabim anywhere. And if Rizabim is dead by that boy who's literally 9 fucking years old, then we should not fuck with that person. This is where, well, we'll see. Lucifer says, okay, I know. Okay, fine. Let's just not do that then. Exactly. Now let's go. This is where they both do magic circles to teleport away. Now, if a girl with mostly black hair, who seems to be mostly around like 10 or whatever, she kind of had mostly onyx black eyes, and this is where, well, mostly jet black hair, but not the point. This is where, well, it wasn't as black as mostly the one with the black hair, but this is where, well, she was interesting. She had this mostly like purple dress around her, and no, it wasn't the lolicone kind of like outfit, no. She was actually someone to a 10-year-old form, but this is where, well, she kind of, right now, well, not 10 years old, she was 11, but not the point. This is where, well, she then says, interesting, that boy, he can surpass Great Red and I. That boy is not normal. He definitely knows what we are also. He knows what he's himself is. He knows a lot of things. Then that boy, maybe I can find peace within him, or maybe with him. This is where, well, a silence or whatever. Yes, there's none other than Orpheus. But no, Orpheus is not going to be a part of my hero, so fuck off. Maybe I'll just go through the fact that she actually aged up to be like an actual, what's it called? Like young woman. Not some kind of lolicon, because fuck that shit. Who the hell wants the FBI on their ass? No one. Unless you're a fucking hero, but other than that, no. But yeah, this is where, well, mostly we go into Issei and I kind of going back to the house. This is where Beto disappears into darkness, into my darkness, and of course, since I summoned him out, he's actually going to be permanently a part of me. But yeah, since I summoned him out with my white eyes. But this is what, well, one white eye, because anything that I summon out with one of my white eyes, it usually will keep with my abilities. So right now, I do have some abilities that I got unlocked with the white eye, because it literally just erased some of the seals that I kind of put on my body. So I wouldn't be too busted in the beginning. But right now, I am completely busted right now. But yeah, there's some abilities that might need to be trained, because some of the abilities are quite powerful for a 9-year-old to even hold on to. But this way, but luckily for me, I'm actually going to be training with my grandfather, or mostly the Hyodo grandfather. He's not really a Hyodo because, well, he's actually from a different family, but not the point. But he is a grandfather because he's from actually Mika's side. But this way, well, we go into a time skip of mostly a week later. We'll see, Issei is kind of in school bored, but of course the boy itself, mostly I, am right now training with my grandfather. Right now we're training in martial arts. Martial arts is called Taekwondo. But of course, we're both training it, and of course, we're both kind of attacking a dummy, and of course, he's teaching me everything he knows about Taekwondo, either advanced or non-advanced, mostly the common, mostly basic styles. But of course, I'm trying to reinforce and master the basic styles, because the basic styles are going to be the best styles to ever use in the daily to hand combat. Advanced styles will be those when I have to use it when I'm in a desperate situation. And very, very advanced styles, well, mostly I'll use them also when I'm in a desperate situation, or I just want to screw someone over, screw their life over. But yeah. But this is where, well, most of the person is named Jin, Taejin, and of course this is where, well, Jin kind of says, I can't believe my grandson is actually taking over the thing, what's it called, style that I'm doing. This is where, well, he's a taller, buff, older man who has mostly, grayish hair, like grayish spiky hair. This is where, well, he does have somewhat of a beard kind of like going on him. But this is where, well, he does have grayish eyes, and this is where, well, he does have lots of scars around his body. This is where, well, he seems to be the height of like not 5, mostly 8 feet. He is that tall. He's humongously tall. This is where, well, I'm right now only a kind of like 4, or mostly not 4.9, mostly like a 4'5", who is still just a 9-year-old. But of course I don't care, and I still train to be the very best, even if I have to jump higher than normal for being a kind of 4'5" right now. Because right now I'm only 9 years old. Until I get stronger and become even much stronger, I won't let anyone touch my little brother. I'll teach him also Taekwondo later, but not the point. I'll teach him more advanced styles and mostly Taekwondo and also other martial arts. This is where, I then kind of look at my grandfather and says, so, since I'm kind of still practicing on the martial arts that you taught me about, grandfather, this is where, well, Taejin says, yeah. Do you have anyone else that can actually teach me about other mostly not Taekwondo, other martial arts styles? This is where, well, mostly Taejin says, I have a friend of mine. I have a couple of friends. Are usually have mostly martial arts dojos. Yeah, I can try to talk to them to see if they would take a 9-year-old for their martial arts dojo. But yeah, why do you want to learn so much martial arts? This is where, well, mostly I then say, because I want to protect my little brother. This is where, well, Taejin says, your little brother. Alright, I forgot about little Issei. You're quite honorable, Issei. Or not Issei. Mostly Raikou, or Dark Raikou, because he was the only one to actually kind of name me Dark Raikou. Not Raikou, Dark Raikou. This is where, well, mostly he then says, yeah, that's a good idea. You want to protect him. You also want to teach him the styles, don't you? Yes, the different styles, so he can become a strong person that usually would need to protect himself when he's older. This is where, well, mostly Taejin says, you sometimes don't sound like a 9-year-old. You sometimes sound like a wise old man, or someone who just lived long enough. Fine. I will kind of ask some of my friends to see if they're willing to train you in the different styles. Let's see. I should recommend you with one of my friends. He's quite friendly with children, I hope so. But his name is Bang. This is where, well, I say Bang? Yeah. He's an old man that used to be a hero himself, and then, well, mostly back then, he kind of retired because there was way too much stuff that he needed to do. But he can teach you in the ways of a martial art called mostly stream water rock smashing fist. This is where, well, mostly I nod and say, understand. Then I'll learn this. And then I'll learn other styles. Yes, that's where, well, mostly I look at grandfather, and grandfather just looks at me and just smiles and says, "We're good to know." Well, then I start with other training, but we go into mostly a time skip now. A time skip of mostly, well, someone becoming 17 years old now, but of course they're not 17, mostly becoming 18 somewhat. But this one, well, the boy has brownish hair, brownish spiky hair, goldenish brown eyes, and he's right now going to a school literally named Kuo Academy. He's actually, well, not actual third year, and of course he's kind of a second year, but not the point. Well, he's kind of 17 still, but of course his brother should recently just turned 19 a while ago, but not the point. But this is where, well, mostly he sighs and wondering when his brother's going to get out of mostly prison. But yeah, yes, I am in prison, but I'll mention that later and why I'm here. But other than that, right now I will go into the main story. Well, before I do that, I'm gonna end it off here. Yes, I'm gonna end it off at this part. At this part of mostly Issei becoming 18, while I am for some reason, or not 18, 17, while I am for some reason in jail. Don't worry and why I'm in there, but other than that, let me just kind of end it off here. But then that, bye soon, yeah. Bye-bye.